So hey folks, my name is Mike Tholfsen. I work on the Microsoft education team, and we have some other product managers from the education team as well with me. And this is the inaugural session of what's new in Microsoft EDU. And before we get started, I just want to say we don't have a fancy production team. We're very scrappy, but if things aren't perfect and along the way, we're all just gonna relax and roll with it, because this is our first one. We hope to have a lot of fun, and we're so happy to have everyone join us. And so with that, here's the agenda of what we're going to cover. We're going to start with what's new in Teams EDU, and then we're going to move on to M365, and then we're going to have some time for Q&A, ask us anything. There were some questions that were pre-submitted, but we'll do the live questions first. Like Leif said, there's a little Q&A up at the top, right above my head anyway. Up at the top bar, there's a Q&A button that you can hit to ask questions. And so with that, we're going to just get right on rolling into Microsoft Teams. And I'm going to turn it over to Leif Brenne, colleague of mine. And Leif, I'm going to let you take it away.
Perfect. So I'm going to talk about a couple of new updates for assignments that we're doing for this month. The first thing we're doing is set up list view updates. The list view is where you see assignments in the assignment application, inside the Teams application as well. So the first thing we're doing is a list view update for the students. And the goal here is to make for a more organized view for the students to view, so they can focus easily on what's next for their experience. So currently, as you know, in assignment, you have a list for both the class or for all of assignments. You show assigned and completed. And this list view is basically a blank list, not a list that shows all the upcoming and past due assignments for the students. And you can scroll through these things, of course, and see everything that's coming up. But we heard a lot of feedback around how to make it more organized, how do we actually get more a data-driven approach. So what we've done in the new version that's rolling out, I would say maybe end of November, is adding now kind of a weekly kind of checkpoint for you. So this week is coming up this week. Next week and further, it's kind of the next upcoming stuff, and past due is what's coming up that you're past due as well. So for this week, we have everything that's due for the student this week, including this past due. I'm showing an assignment list, but the same thing as for assignments applications across all apps. And I can go and see everything that's past due in that week. If I go to my next week application, I can see what's coming up next week as well to kind of prep myself for that. And of course, further out this beyond that as well. And then we have one tab which basically everything past due. So it's for students to see what's past due and just happen to be past due for the student as well. We also added the ability for us to do search for assignments as well. So you can now search directly for any assignment title directly into the assignment list and find it for you there. Now, similar as we do for students, we're also doing an update for teachers. And this is a way for us easy view to upcoming and past assignments for the teachers as well. So today we have a list for assignments that are basically a chronological order for you. And we shows you assigned return drafts for the assignment itself. So what we're doing right now is adding an upcoming list for the assignment, which basically shows everything from today and going forward. And you can easily scroll and see things in this group by date, so it should be easier to view things in the list. And the same as past due, so everything that's past due for this class or for the audio classes. And you can use things to do grading or notify people for anything there as well. And similar to students, you can also now search for any assignment title directly in the list view as well to easily find any older or existing assignments. So those are list view updates that we're doing, and it's a rolling probably end of November for us. The third thing I want to talk about is grading insights. So we have done a lot of work based on some feedback from a lot of our users around how do we get average grade, how do we get functionality like that into insights. So you may not know, but if you look at the insights report right now, we have updated the assignments report last couple months. And we also added the ability to see average grades inside the grading applications. So what we're doing right now is also adding the ability for you to directly see trends and distributions within the grading application itself. So if you go to grading, and I'm going to expand this a little bit, you can see all my average grades here for the class and for students for the assignment. And if I click on then a assignment, I can see now the grade for that particular assignment and comparing to the rest of my assignments in that class. As well, I can go to my class average and see trends and distribution across all my teams in that class. And if I want to actually go and see the student as well, I can click on the student, see the student page, and within the student page, go and see the details and the breakdown for the student as well by clicking on view details. And if I want to, I can now just click on the Insights report to see more data as well. So anyway, that's hopefully a quick way for educators to get more insights into how the students, class, and assignments are doing as well. Thank you. Yeah, so one of the things we also added last month is basically the ability for us to hide comments when you're doing anything with Office documents. So prior to this change, when the students submitted their work with the Office documents or Word, Excel, PowerPoint, we will display the teacher copy for the students. We will no longer do that until this teacher actually returns it back to the students. So it's a kind of highly asked feature for a lot of teachers in the first place. Another feature that we are doing, and let's get my next page there, is, can you next one, Mike? Are you able to? Yeah, thank you. Another big ask for us for assignments and forms is the ability to do time quizzes. So in forms right now, you can go into settings. Inside settings, there's now something called set time duration, and you can do this for any quizzes assigned to assignments or quizzes that are assigned just to regular forms. And this will give you a due date or a time for the students to complete the quizzes. So if you want to time it correctly, that's good. And when the time is up, it should be submitted automatically for you, for the students in the work as well. So it's been a highly requested feature for those quickly tests you want to do in your classroom. And Mike, over to you for your reading progress.
Great. So just 2 days ago, for those of you that have used Reading Progress, our reading fluency tool, hopefully that's a lot of you, we just rolled out the Phonics Rules Challenge assignment. Now, this is for English-only language at this point, but if you've seen, we now gather phonics rules and insights with a single click of a button. If you click the Challenge Assignment button, it'll generate a list of suggested words that are similarly related to the phonics rules your kids were breaking. So we analyze the phonics rules and then generate a suggested word list that we will pop into a new assignment. So with the click of a button, it'll generate a new assignment. And these words here are generated from the same phonics rules that the students in your class were having challenges with. So that's a really powerful tool, huge time saver. Another one that just rolled out probably a few days ago is the class notebook viewer in Teams Mobile. So what this means is historically, if students opened a OneNote page on their phone and they didn't have the OneNote app installed, which is pretty common, students say, oh, I don't want to download that 80 megabyte, Office app. I don't have space on my phone or whatever. Now, instead, it will open up a nice little web rendering view of that OneNote page. So when you click Class Notebook or click a page, it won't ask you to force install the entire OneNote app. So it's like a lightweight Class Notebook viewer. And so you can still go and edit the page. If you want to edit the page, you can download the whole app. But this is really great, especially for students that don't have a lot of bandwidth or a lot of space on their phone. That one is just rolled out as well. Now, next up, we've got our newest EDU product manager on the team. Emma Gray is joining us. She's based in Vancouver, and she's going to talk about Staff Team Reflect.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. I'm happy to be here. Excellent. All right. So as has been highly requested by our educator partners, we now have a Reflect tab that comes by default when you create a new staff team. So what does that look like? We navigate across to the top bar here. We've got our Reflect tab. And as a team owner, I can create a staff check-in for the staff at my school. And normally when we initiate this in a class team, the questions are very student-centric. But here we can see we've customized some preloaded questions with educators and other teachers in mind. So yeah, educators, teachers, librarians, IT administrators, and the questions are about how they're personally doing, how their classroom relationships are doing, and also educator support questions, like how are you feeling about our school's ecosystem, and how do you feel about the support that you received this week? So these are generally customizable as well from this tab here, where you can add your own custom topics. And then you can also change what your members can see, no responses and no names, or responses but no names. And when I'm sure I've got the question that I want, I can demonstrate what the person's view would look like as a staff member who is filling this out. So I can choose my answer, hit submit, and close the view there. Now, the next set of things that we have to look at are scheduling our check-ins. So we can choose the duration, 5 minutes all the way up to a week. And we can also choose which channel to post our check-in to. Now, navigating over to a typical class team, you can see here that in a completed reflect assignment, we can have our together mode, where I can see with either showing or not showing the names of people who've completed the check-in, how they're all feeling. So this is an example here, and this is a feature that's going to be available in our staff teams as well. Thanks so much, Mike.
Okay, I'm going to do a couple of rapid fire updates. So one is Excel Live in Teams meetings. This allows someone to share their Excel file, and everyone can collaborate on it right through the Teams meeting window. So even people who don't have Excel on their end can collaborate through the Teams meeting window, real-time co-authoring. So it's really cool for collaborative Excel. Another one that's great for inclusivity, intelligent chat message on Teams mobile. So for example, if you have a message that came through in French, we will recognize that. And if you click translate, we will translate into the language of your phone. So in this case, English. So there's a whole bunch of different languages, very easy to translate text messages and chat messages or Teams messages back and forth. That has fully rolled out as well. Another one that's just starting to roll out is our Teams meetings instant poll. So you'll have the ability to very easily right here from your poll app have little instant polls. So you want to pre-program the polls. You can just launch a yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down, heart, no heart, etc. That one's rolling out, I believe right now across November. And another one, teachers will like this, the ability to assign seats in together mode. So all of your bad students, so if Leif and TJ and Emma were all my troublemakers, I can make sure they're all up in the front with me, and you can assign and drag drop where you want students to be. And if you look closely, you'll see Emma here. She was in the video we made on YouTube for assigned seats. And then last for Teams, this is not brand new, but in private preview, we do have a parent app. So the ability for parents to access assignments and sort of progress and what's happening through a website or through a mobile web app. This is in private preview, and it's going to be rolling out into public preview in the near future. And so if you want to get access to this, again, there's information in the deck later. You can sign up for the private preview. And now we're going to move on to M365. So this is sort of all the other great stuff happening in the world of M365, or at least as much as we could get into a 30-minute webinar. The first one is one of my favorites. Now, hold on here. Just for this call, I got something special. I haven't worn this in a while, but we're talking about OneNote. Let's do it with a OneNote cape, right? Like, who wouldn't want to hear about OneNote with a OneNote Avenger cape? So the first question I get a whole lot is, hey, what's going on with the OneNote desktop app, the Windows 10 app, the Windows Store? Hey, there's an announcement. In the Windows Store, now the rejuvenated OneNote desktop app that's part of Office 365 is now the default available in the store. So if you're using Windows 10, don't worry, you can still download the Windows 10 app. There's actually a support article that just came out. There's a blog we're putting out, so you can still get access to it. It still updates, nothing changes. It's just that the default in the store is the desktop app. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, the desktop app has been rejuvenated. A bunch of new updates have been added into it. Math updates, immersive reader, dictate. I'll show some of the new features in just a moment. The number one question I get, I want to be super clear here, is people say, but Mike, the desktop app doesn't look like the UI of the Windows 10 app and the web and Mac. And can you make the UI look all the same? And the answer is yes. It's not quite all the way there yet. It's sort of like halfway there. But by mid-2023, if you used Windows 10 and you want to move to desktop, there'll be a way when you migrate, the user interface will look super similar. Like everything on the left-hand side, the notebooks and the sections will look the same. There'll be a way to, get rid of the tabs on the top if you want and sort of make it look a lot like Windows 10. So I know that question has come up a ton. Apologies that we haven't been as clear as we maybe could have, but I'm telling you here today. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show a little bit of a couple of new sets of OneNote features. So first off, if you didn't already know, we have the full immersive reader baked into OneNote Desktop. So I've got my page here. If I hit immersive reader, I get the full-on immersive reader that you know and love. Hopefully, I can do all those same features, do all that stuff, and do read aloud, everything.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography.
So immersive reader is fully embedded into OneNote Desktop. The other thing that we have is all the ink tools. So things like rainbow ink. Now I've got rainbow ink right here inside of OneNote Desktop, which is great. We've got the ruler too. So, that's been a big question is, hey, what about rulers? That is all there. The other thing that's just rolling out right now that's really nice is pen view mode, simple pen view. So if I go to OneNote full screen here, there's this new little button in the upper right. I'm making a little circle, that pen. See when I hit pen? Now I've got my little pen toolbar. So if I want to change my pens and be in full screen mode and do all that stuff, I've got this simple pen view mode. If I click that, it goes away, or I can close it. So all of those things are some of the latest OneNote features in OneNote Desktop. And I'm going to go back to the deck here. And pretty much all those things are rolled out in the insider build of OneNote, or they're already there today. It depends on sort of what version of OneNote you're on. Also, we've got editor improvements. So Microsoft Editor, some really powerful tools to roll out to help with student writing. Made some major announcements there. Personalized toolbars are coming. This is really cool. Imagine I just click a button and it says, do you want us to personalize the toolbar based on your usage? It knows what I've been using and can generate me my own toolbar. And then, boom, a customized AI-generated toolbar based on what you do. That will be super powerful for students as well as educators. That's going to be rolling out very soon. Also, Stream. For those of you that use Stream 2.0 is fully available now, meaning all your videos will go into your OneDrive. So they're searchable in OneDrive. They're treated just like a file in OneDrive. That full migration is done. You can get transcripts on all your videos, just like you could in original Stream. And you can get all the analytics. And Stream is going to be adding a bunch more stuff like screen capture, screen recording, and it all lives in your own OneDrive. So that is fully GA. Your IT admin might not have fully switched yet. It'll just depend. And then the last thing we'll talk about before getting into Q&A is whiteboards. So in Teams meetings, you now can have all of your previous whiteboards will pop up when you choose whiteboard. So it's really easy to reuse them. And then also pasting video links like YouTube links of videos into whiteboard will now render just like in OneNote. So it's an interactive video that can embed right there in your whiteboard. And with that, like I said, it was rapid fire. We're going to move to Q&A. We want to answer your questions. So if you have not yet asked a question in the Q&A tab, that's the place to do it. It looks like we've had some questions answered already, but here's a good one. I will answer. Oh, looks like that one. It's already been answered. I will answer another. There were a lot of OneNote questions. Another one I've heard is, hey, what about in desktop? You have to download that class notebook add-in, where in the Windows 10 app it's baked in, and in the Mac it's baked in. In 2023, later in 2023, we're going to be building that class notebook toolbar natively into the desktop, so you'll no longer have to download and add in. So, anyways, that was I see some other questions. Oh, I see that Joe Scott asked, did I see reading coaches coming to Immersive Reader? Why, yes, you did see that, Joe. And it is coming to Immersive Reader. The when, I would say in the coming weeks, plural, without giving you how many weeks, but it's not too far away. But we are actively working on that, and it's going to be really awesome when it rolls out. So if you haven't seen Reading Coach, it's coming to Immersive Reader. What that means is you will be able to take any content you have in OneNote or Word Online or Flipgrid or Forms and use Reading Coach with Immersive Reader. So you can practice at home. You don't need Teams. It doesn't need to be an assignment. You can do whatever you want. Anthony, sorry, another question about OneNote I'm just reading here. Will the OneNote app be available as a non-store app? Yes, you can still download the desktop as a non-store app. So that's going to be possible.
There's a lot of questions, Mike, around the parent connection and the school connection applications.
I'm just seeing these. Okay, so for parent connection, can schools still sign up for the private preview? Yes, they can. If you go to, actually, maybe Leif, if you want to put this into the chat, or I can even answer it too. Parent.microsoft.com. Oh, you already did. Of course you did, because he's on it. The other question is, do parents have access to see chats? The answer is no. It's really about seeing student progress, assignments, grade, reading progress information, things like that. Does Teams parent, do you need an Office 365 account? You do not, no. You don't. I believe to start, you need a Microsoft account, just a generic consumer account, but you don't need an Office 365 account. Hopefully that answered. Were there any other critical parent questions?
Yeah, one more question.
Feel free to jump in and answer other ones, Leif. I'm just kind of
there was another question, which was, hey, for the parent connection app, basically the ability for Teams to connect with parents, is the ability for teachers to add in parent information directly without using SDS. And it's currently not available, but I think there's something looking at in the future as well to add the ability for teachers to manually add parent information.
Yes, correct. Let's see, I see another OneNote question because what I'm going to do is, while I'm answering some of these questions, there are a bunch of questions that came through in forums. So I'm just going to put these, people want to read. There's a bunch of Teams questions on this first one. The next page has OneNote questions, but feel free to read these in real time. We'll kind of go through some of the questions here. It says, if we're using OneNote Windows 10, is there any benefit of converting to OneNote desktop right now? We like to have the same experience in class bookings and Teams. I would say if you're using it right now, middle of the school year, and you want to stay looking exactly the same right now, I wouldn't change anything. OneNote Desktop has a few more features that are more advanced, but in general, I think if you're happy with it right now, I wouldn't change in the middle of the school year. It might just, be more disruptive. So that was from Jessica.
And there's a question, Mike, around Immersive Reader in Edge, and it's supposed to be the full tool rather than read aloud. You know me, better me, I'm assuming. On the Edge.
Yeah, in the Edge version of Immersive Reader is very similar to the one that we have in the rest of OneNote and Word Online and Teams. It's a little different because Edge is a different sort of surface area, so there's some little things that are a little bit different, but it should have most of the features. One note, though, we're not going to have Reading Coach available in the Edge version. It's only going to be in the Office 365 apps.
There's a question also around the math tools. Basically, when we'll get the same functionality for math tools in OneNote Desktop. I believe that's coming up pretty soon, right, Mike?
Yeah, so for math tools in OneNote, that's a great question. All the Windows 10 tools are in the process of being moved into desktop as well, or copied over. We don't have all of them yet, but we have, I think graphing is coming in 2 months. That's not quite there. Immersive Reader for math steps just rolled out last week. And then the practice quiz, we had to remove that temporarily from Windows 10 due to some security things. That is coming back to the web in probably 2 months. And the practice quiz is coming back into OneNote Desktop in 2 months, and it'll be coming to Mac and other places. So the practice quiz has been getting sort of updated and improved, and it's going to come back everywhere. So yeah, all the math tools are going to be in OneNote Desktop pretty soon. Yes, Celie. All right. I saw Jenna Lee's in the house. Jane Long, Celie Clark. I'm gonna move this to the next slide, to the next one. There's a bunch of OneNote answers, and then we'll move on. I'll make sure people have a chance to get the link to the meeting because I see we're coming up on time here. This deck also has a bunch of resources, links, and demos. So if you want to share this with your schools, which I encourage you to do, and we're going to post this on YouTube as well, you can share the deck with your schools. A whole lot of information. So what I'll say is, if you want to vote on feature requests, a lot of people say, hey, Mike, I wish it had this feature. I wish it had that feature. How can I vote? There are all the little feedback portals right here. I put all the links to all your favorite stuff. So we love to hear feedback from educators. There's also links to a lot of the blogs and information that we talked about, Teams, OneNote, Editor, Stream, etc. All those links to blogs. You know me, or a lot of you do. I like to make videos. I've got a lot of videos on how to do a lot of stuff, all the new features in depth on my YouTube channel. So all the links to the latest PowerPoint, latest Teams, latest OneNote, latest forms, etc. And so this is the deck. There's a link here. There's also a QR code. So, we should, I didn't even think, I don't know, Leif or Emma or someone, if we want to pop that link into the chat as well and the Q&A. We can do that. Steve, question, are you using Zoom it for the red pointer? No, I'm using the red pointer in PowerPoint Live. PowerPoint Live has a red pointer. It's really nice. It's built in. Even has a highlighter, so I can highlight, right on top of stuff. So I'll erase that too. Yeah, red pointer is right in PowerPoint Live. So please share this deck. When this video comes out, share the video. We're going to be doing this on a monthly basis. We'll probably be having some special guests in the future. We're doing another one of these in about 8 hours, and we're very excited that so many people joined today. Thank you for joining, and I think that we'll wrap it up. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.